You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. You know, I don't think, RC, you and I have had this conversation on air yet, so I'm curious your thoughts. It looks like Jayden Daniels is going to be the guy for LSU on Sunday. What you got to see him, obviously, the last couple of years at ASU there with Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
What is LSU getting in Jayden Daniels, provided he is the guy on Sunday?
He is super duper talented, man. Like, honestly, Jayden Daniels, after his freshman year, and this is honesty for me. I said at ESPN, getting ready to Get Up, he's going to be a Heisman finalist one day. Jayden Daniels was the reason I was wrong about Justin Herbert. I got an opportunity to watch Justin Herbert in his last year at Oregon face Jayden Daniels, and Jayden just totally outplayed him. Showed up bigger in important clutch moments, made huge plays to win the game. And I was like, if this dude is a top 10 pick, Justin Herbert, then Jayden Daniels is going to win the Heisman one day. I think it was some of the lack of continuing to put people around him. I want to say he had 2 or 3 different offensive coordinators, but from a standpoint of what he can do with his legs, arm strength, he has everything he needs to be successful. And hopefully, LSU, with the way that they've worked the transfer portal, obviously already having guys like Kayshawn, and just giving him opportunities to have weapons to utilize, I think he'll do really well at LSU. But I also know LSU is different, right? There was never going to be any pressure on Jayden to play better, to be anything different, because there was no one else to put in the game if you were at Arizona State that could give you that level of play. Obviously, with Nuss behind him, as talented as he is, as big time of a player that he is, I think that pressure is going to allow Jayden to actually elevate his game, because he does understand, unlike being at Arizona State, there are options.
RC, on Sunday, oddly enough, we might see another Arizona State transfer. It's just the nature of college football now. And Johnny Wilson, who's a receiver now for Florida State, big 6'7" kid. He had a 51-yard reception on Saturday against Duquesne. I think got tweaked a little, but it sounds like he's going to play. Florida State's really lacking big-time options. What about Johnny Wilson? What can you tell us about him?
Oh, no, Johnny's a player, man. Johnny was one of those steals, for Arizona State. One of those kids that's not really supposed to go to school there, a top 50, light player. Many thought the Oregons and schools like that were going to get him. He was banged up a little bit at Arizona State. Early on, had a little case of the drops, but he's just one of those uniquely talented receivers. Long arms, huge catch radius, big body, strong. He is a guy that can threaten you deep, but to me, it's more of what he can do in the intermediate routes and continue to keep the chains moving. Also, yards after the catch, because when someone is that size, you got to want to tackle. You got to want to get them on the ground. And so I do think that's going to be the challenge, for a secondary at LSU that is, largely inexperienced in the sense of playing with one another. Obviously, you have guys who've played a lot of football in other places, but they haven't necessarily played with the group that they will be playing with on Sunday in the Dome.
Ryan Clark's with us. He's on Twitter at RealRClark25. Convo's brought to you by DraftKings every Thursday. Of course, check out The Pivot if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe up over on YouTube. Just incredible work there. RC, there's also been this conversation, just a couple more, about who has the benefit of having played. What you just said there I think was very interesting about the secondary. All of LSU's corners are either 5th or 6th year guys.
Yes.
So a lot of old veteran guys, but like you said, haven't played together. Who benefits more? Florida State having had the game, or LSU having the film of Florida State and a little bit of the element of surprise?
I think the element of surprise is always good, but I'll take the reps over surprise, right? I'll take the opportunity to play with one another over, you don't know what we're going to be, what we're going to do. If I'm game planning Duquesne, I don't necessarily believe I'm going to show a lot if I'm the Florida State Seminoles anyway. You know, obviously you'll know a little bit about the personnel. You have seen them play. But I think, you know, if you're at Florida State, you feel good about knowing who in your room can do what, knowing who you can count on in what situations or in what areas, whereas LSU is going to be figuring out those things on the run. And by the way, with a new head coach, I think when you look at Brian Kelly, you know, and I've said this a million times, the one thing the man understands how to do is coach football, right? He understands winning football games. And Brian Kelly has been in some positions throughout his career where maybe his talent on his football team didn't necessarily say that they were going to win 10 games, that they were going to win 11 games, but he found ways to do it. I think he's going to have to work some of that magic here at LSU. I think in the future he wins a national championship, an SEC championship, because he's that good of a coach. And, well, hell, everybody wins one at LSU at some point. You know, like, just being honest, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Les had such a dysfunctional, you know, organization or university or team when he was there. It got him fired from his new job.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, is the same, but both of those guys win national championships. Both of those guys coach incredibly competitive teams. So I think Brian gets there, but I would have rather, if I was him, get one of those games under my belt where you understand you're going to win, you can try things, work on certain things, kind of see what you have before you step up to these Power 5 type universities.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.